So, I don't know if any of y'all remember, I was supposed to go on a tour with Gaga, like about 6, 7 years, something, a while back. And I remember that it was something where she was nominated. She wasn't nominated for Best New Artist, right? But they wanted her to perform in the show. They wanted her to open, right? So the Grammys secretly changed something about the nominations in order to nominate her, in order for her to perform in the show. Now, Frank Ocean, on the other end, is very vocal that his album wasn't nominated for the Grammys, right? And since it's vocal, no one wants to say nothing about it. No one wants to do nothing about it. And I'm saying this to y'all because a lot of people, they try to make it seem like I'm so self-centered, but, the album I listened to the most this year is Frank Ocean album. And I tell you what, I'll tell you this right now. If his album is not nominated in no categories, I'm not showing up to the Grammys. As artists, we gotta come together to fight the bullshit they've been doing to us for years. All we need is a fair shot, you know what I'm saying? Whether I win or lose, whether whoever win or lose, my whole point, my purpose, my existence, everything that people try to diss me for, is based on just an instant replay clock. Imagine in sports if they ain't had no instant replay clock and somebody could just step completely out of bounds.
That's Akademiks. Check it out. Now, if y'all are a disciple of Kanye West, and yes, Kanye West believes he's like Jesus or something, okay? If y'all one of his disciples, okay, and you paid for a ticket to go to his St. Pablo tour, expect it to be filled with rants, okay? If you've never been to a Kanye West show, this is pretty much how it goes. He starts performing a song, he says, cut that shit, and he goes on a long fucking rant about how Kim K didn't put, butter on both sides of his bread, okay? He does some dumb shit. I don't even know what it is. He just goes off every night. Every fucking night, he got something to complain about. It was Jay, it was Cudi, it was this, it was that. He gets everything off his chest. Now, it's fine because his fans obviously love it or don't mind it. But now he's targeted the Grammys. Okay, this time around, he says, listen, man, I ain't going to no Grammys if Frank Ocean don't get nominated. Now, once again, he's trying to hold an award show hostage by his quote-unquote presence. If you don't do this, I won't show up. Now, he really thinks he's this important in his mind, like the Grammys is about Kanye, not about music. Well, of course, he thinks he's the most important thing to music, so you can understand why he thinks that. Now, let's take a step back, because Kanye West is actually one of the worst type of motherfuckers. The type of guy who likes to complain in the aftermath, but never offers any solutions how to fix the systematic problem, right? He'll complain about who didn't win, who should have been nominated at award shows, but you never hear him going in depth or making a strong effort to revamp the voting process and revamp the people who are voting on these awards. He just shows up, gets mad, or doesn't show up and bitch and moan. Okay, that's the big problem about Kanye. Listen, it's basically complaining about, oh yeah, cops keep killing black people, except you never try to do things to make sure cops are properly trained, make sure we figure out who are the bad ones before the thing happens. You only get mad after it happens. Okay, you can't do nothing then. Now, again, Kanye West's thing is that Frank Ocean should have been nominated. Okay, Frank Ocean dropped 2 projects, okay, Blonde and Endless. They're actually, at least announced by the Grammys, they're ineligible for Grammy consideration because it missed a crucial deadline, okay? Now, Kanye West mentioned that the Grammys have made certain type of allowances before to supposedly Lady Gaga, and they considered her album, so they should consider Frank Ocean. And while I do think Kanye has a point with that, because a lot of people do like Frank Ocean's music, me personally, it's cool. I don't know what it is, man. After I realized he was singing about niggas, I just don't know. Okay, I gotta keep it 100 with y'all. And I'm like, yo, I've been thinking about you. I ain't thinking about niggas. I'm Shraggy. So listen, he's a good musician and everything, but after Channel Orange, I don't know. I couldn't get down with that. Okay, I gotta be honest with you. He's cool though. He does his own thing. No hate. Anyway, right? A lot of people like it. A lot of people think it's one of the best projects to date this year. However, there are rules, all right? There are rules, and if we make an exception for Frank Ocean, we got to make an exception for somebody else. And also, why do we keep going back to the Grammys to validate us if we feel like the Grammys and these other award shows don't know what they're doing? Why do you then still give them the power of recognition or the power to let you down? If you know somebody ain't shit, ain't gonna do shit, why would you then still look towards them to do something when you already have admitted they keep fucking up? And that's what we keep doing with the Grammys and most of these other award shows. Kanye West, you being someone that's quote unquote so powerful, right? Why don't you get your own award show? How about you actually start working with the Grammys directly rather than ranting and raving on stage? You most likely have a closer tie and have more influence than anyone else could. Maybe you could get that change, but just ranting and raving on stage, that's going to make a couple headlines. I'm talking about it. It's not going to do much. It falls on deaf ears and people just say Kanye West with another one. All right, so while I wouldn't fight for no Frank Ocean album to be getting nominated, but I know a lot of people like it, which I'm going to assume it's a very dope project. I listen to it, seem kind of cool. However, should it be nominated? Possibly. If it's missed the deadline, should there an exception be made? I'm not too sure about that. But the bigger problem here is Kanye West, do something more than complain after the fact, all right? Or do something more than complain on stage. How about trying to change the process yourself? And usually that's not done by ranting on stage or calling people out. Usually that's done behind the scenes. And I'm not too sure if Kanye West is willing to put in the work there. So, get in the comments, make sure you guys like them and subscribe. Do you think Frank Ocean album should be nominated for a Grammy? Or do you think if it didn't fall within the deadline or the last day that it could be considered, it should not be made an exception for? Because going forward, there's always going to be an album that needs to make the exception for. Okay? Get in the comments, make sure you guys like them and subscribe to Akademiks. I'm out.